Okay, so I just started the recording and we will get started. As you probably see, I'm not sharing my video and I will explain why. Because I played soccer this weekend very well, so you can see my face now. Very beautiful face. This is how
What happened?
uh, yeah, I participated in a tournament. This is an annual tournament that's being conducted here in Sacramento, organized by a German team. And it's an unlucky tournament for me. So last time I played it was 3 years ago, and I've got like such big blisters on my on my toes. So it was 3 years ago before COVID. Then it was like break for the COVID, and then this year they organized that tournament again, and I got injured in the first game, and then I got punched in my face in the second game. So this is how I look right now. Yeah.
Excellent.
So I will not. I will try to not share my video a lot, so you don't see my beautiful face. But yeah, let's get started and let's overview what we have done. So I overviewed your homework. Thank you for that. It's a great homework, and I saw as well that you completed the homework for Stan as well. A lot of you, so that's great. I have such document. Let me quickly share my screen. My screen number 2. Okay. So this is the document. I'm just marking people who have completed the homework, because if you complete all the 4 homeworks, automation you don't have to complete. But if you complete those 4 homeworks, then and you consider, of course, you consider the main course, then you get the 50% discount for the first month. So just like a gift from us for those who are the most motivated, right? For those who are not motivated, yeah, we discussed a little bit, maybe a tiny discount for everybody who just attended the course. So there maybe will be a little discount. But for those who actually completed the homeworks, there will be a big discount, 50%, just because you deserve that, right? This is a gift from us. Okay, so this just to let you know. And the first thing I wanted to start with is just actually overviewing your homework, just give you feedback. I already posted my feedback in the thread. So, so this is the thread. So this is the first homework. And as you can see, this is pinned. So how can, okay, over here. So if you see on computer, so there are pinned posts, right? So you can hover over the channel name and you can see 2 pinned posts. And you can open them. And one of them is the QA homework. The second one is Stan's homework. And you reply in those threads. So actually you open this homework and then you reply in the thread, because many of you, especially for Stan's homework, were replying just in this chat, and there was a lot of noise, a lot of spam, and so on. So please remember to reply to this specific message. So you just do replies and reply it over here, as most of you did actually for QA homework. But then something happened for JavaScript. So please follow the same approach so we can have our chat clean for other important questions, because you can ask any other question, like something is not working. I'm trying to do this, but something is, I don't know, happening, etc. So just try to spam less and put all the homeworks under this homework messages in the thread and leave other questions in the main thread. Okay, so let me open my feedback. So those are your test cases, and thank you everyone who actually completed the homework. It was a great job, especially considering that that was a single lesson, just one single lesson, just 2 hours. But how you did that, considering the first time, it was great. Of course, there was a feedback that you need to fix something in most of the cases, but that was only one lesson. So great job, great job. What I want to say you in general. So in general, you need to understand, so our job, QA job, is important because not only you have to follow the rules, right? So you have to be an example. So there is no way that you don't follow the rules. If there is a rule that you have to cover every requirement, you have to do that. So you cannot skip requirements, right? You cannot just cover one requirements by test cases and just skip others, because how are you going to make sure that it's working? right? And that's your job. Your job is to make sure that it's working. So when you actually test something, you test the application, you need to make sure that it works according to the requirements. And if you missed the requirement, for example, you didn't test that this specific text located in the left top area, and it's not located there. So there is a bug, but you missed it because you didn't have a test case for that. So you didn't execute it and you didn't find the bug then. So you missed the problem. And your goal is not to follow the rules. Your goal is just to make sure that others in the team, business analysts, developers, they also follow the rules. And we create a great application with a high quality application, actually, right? So that's, you need to make sure. So, and today's lesson important as well, because there will be a lot of rules that you need to follow when creating bug reports. So today we will start testing the application, executing your test cases, and you will have to actually follow all the rules. You will have to open the document and make sure that you follow those rules when create bug report. And because that's important, because it's not only about you following the rules, about others as well. And if you don't follow the rules, then you're not able to make sure that others follow the rules as well. And then you cannot say that you're a good tester. So this free course is just for you to understand how important to follow the rules. This is one of the reasons you take this course, because you need to understand if this is something that you can do. If you are the person who can follow the rules, who can actually make sure that you follow the rules and make sure that others follow the rules. That's why it's important. So one of the rules that we had in the previous lessons was to cover all the test cases, right? And right now, let's see if we actually done that correctly. So what is this? This is my test cases. So let me open the chat again. So Alexandra, let me open your test cases first. And here is, let me do like this, side by side. So my feedback was, you still have some test cases marked in yellow. Yeah, so some of the test cases were marked in yellow in your case, because the name of the button, for example, this test case was in yellow because the name of the button was not final when we started, right? So you marked it as yellow to then, when everything will be fixed and when the requirements will be final, just to go and make your test cases final as well, right? Because in your case, for example, this line was yellow, I remember, and because the button name was something different. Probably it was old button name that business analyst just forgot to change. So it remained old, but now it's final. So this is the name of the button and it's correct. It's the same as in design spec, and you change it. So just forget about this feedback, because I see that you changed it already and you finalized your test cases. Another problem in your test case is that you didn't cover some of the requirements, like text is left aligned, font family, font size, and etc. Yes. So yeah, but you just started adding this. But in your case, correctly, how it should be tested in the same order like here. So logically, you test the application in general. So there is no specific rule that I can say you how you do actually these cases sometimes, because it's just logic that you use, just pure logic. So you see, okay, I need to check that when I open the application, I see 4 sections. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you see 4 sections. These like this. These are like wider sections. These are like more narrow sections, right? So you see those 4 sections, right? And you create a test case for that, and that's correct, right? But then you go here and you test that location of the text area. Then you test that it consists of 3 lines, right? And then the first line is this, second line is this, third line is this. But then text is left aligned. In your case, there is no such test case. So, and you add something over here. So correctly, you don't put them over here. You do like this. You can do like this, select them, and then move. I cannot move because I'm not able to edit your document. Or what you can do as well, you go over here, right click, and then it will be add row above. So let me show you how to do that actually. Where are my test cases? For example, I want to move these ones. So I click shift and then select those. rows, and then I can move them, right? I can move them, and you see the line when they will be pasted over here. So this is how you do that. Or when you try to add more test cases, what you can do over here, for example, below this, you right click and insert row below. If you would like to add the row above, you do row above and etc. Right? So I say below, then I create another test case ID, like this. And I have to probably move till the end, right? Like this. And then I have same test case, then I have the text, then I have pass-fail criteria, the project name is the same, and etc. Right? So when you need to enter something, do like this. I see that you're changing already, right, over here. But you need to add about this. So this needs to be moved over here, because this is about image already. So image needs to be moved to below 50 pixels. Oh, below the background color. Sorry. Okay, so this is what you do. Yeah, so that's one part of my feedback. Don't forget about covering all the test cases, because if something was mentioned in the requirements like this, that means it's important. Business analysts or our clients that order this application, they want this to be there. It's a specific color, specific font size, specific font family, alignment, etc. So all of that is important, right? So that's why you need to cover that as well. And that's one of my feedback. And it was actually, a lot of people did that. A lot of people didn't test the text size for everything. Like image size is static, but nobody tested covered this by test case, right? This is, sometimes you don't know how you're going to test this, and it's okay. Your goal is not to think about how to test it, but your goal is to think that this needs to be covered. So you need to check this. So the width of the image is 600 pixels. And how to do that? We will actually discuss today how to test. But your goal up to this point was to actually finalize the requirements. So make sure they are final. And we have done that together. And right now they are final and they look great. So first part of the homework is completed fully. Second part of the homework, to create test cases and cover every single requirement by test case, was not done fully by some people. But it's okay. It's absolutely okay, because we consider the fact that there was one single lesson only. And if we consider that, so you all did a great job. Okay, so point number 3, what if I like is that your test cases are detailed and easy to understand. Okay, so I like that these test cases in general are easy to understand. Oh man, move my test cases back. Oh, like this. Okay, so in order, just in general, your test cases are clear, full. It was actually easy to understand them and execute, so that's great. You know, just in general, they look great. So thank you, Alexandra. I marked your homework as done. So let me move to another person. So we have Alena Stukalova. Looks great in general. Your test cases are not final. They still have a lot of, okay. So for Alena, a lot of test cases were just marked as yellow and they were not final. So they were not updated according to the final requirements. But that was the only feedback. Other than that, everything was covered. Okay, Tanya Hum, I appreciate your effort in breaking. Okay, so let me open these test cases from Tanya just to see how they look, so you can see all of that. So yeah, Tanya broke everything down to sections, like the test area, table header properties, getting line button, etc. So a lot of things, right? Which is logical and looks great, actually. The only problem here is that you actually broke the template, because this template, and that might be probably my bad, because this template that we have, we actually upload the test cases in Excel document to Azure DevOps, and it actually getting imported as a regular test case item in Azure DevOps. So we have to follow actually this template and do not change it. So that's one problem, but you didn't know about that because I didn't tell you, which is okay. Another thing here, oh man, let me open another thing here is, so the test case, the first one, user can see 4 sections. So the application itself consists of 4 sections. Do you have the test case about that? So I'm not getting what you meant here. So you test something, the functional requirement, the text area consists of 3 lines of text. Okay, so this is clear, I know that. But how about this? What is this comment about? 4 sections listed below on the design specification. Are those like 2 separate test cases, or what is that? Oh, those are like 2 separate test cases? Like 1 test case, 2 test case, 3 test case, 4 test case. Tanya, how does it work?
Just a comment. When something is not clear, and I add a comment how it looks in real.
Okay, so here is my suggestion. So what you need to have is just a list of test cases. You don't have to put comments, because comments, what you do for comments, you just leave them over here. Oh man, I'm sorry. Over here, right? So you select if this is unclear, then you leave a comment, and if business analyst answers you, you don't have a comment anymore, right? So you don't have this thing unclear, because again, the same case as I told you last time. Imagine new person comes to the project. Just you work on the project, but a new person comes. And your lead tells you, hey, Tanya created test cases. You can go and execute, right? Because it's easy. You just take these cases, click pass or fail, and just execute them and report bugs. So that's it. So that person will open your test cases, and my test cases, for example. Okay, by navigating to the application, user can see 4 sections. Okay, that person will read this, open the application, and try to see if there are 4 sections. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, and mark just this test case as pass, right? And etc. and go further. So that person will be able to understand. In your case, the person won't be able to understand. So your main goal when you create test cases, to make sure that anybody who just came to the project will be able to understand it. Got it? So this is the main thing. So that's why I told you, so your test case should be full. When over here, for example, the text area consists of 3 lines of text. So you start from testing over here. Text area consists of 3 lines of text. The test case actually full. It's full test case. So I'm able to understand it fully, because you didn't. So what usually people do, they just do like this, copy this, and then test case looks like this, consists of 3 lines. This is how people sometimes do, even when they get a job, right? So they just copy paste, and then you open the test cases and you're not able to understand what happens. So in your case, the test case is full. The text area consists of 3 lines of text, very full test case. So when I'm able to, when I open my application, I will be able to test the test case. Here is the only one problem that you have. You don't test that it's 4 sections. So the first test case should be the application itself consists of 4 sections, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they are described over here, right? Then it says, okay, so user logically, person who tested this already knows, okay, so 4 sections, the first section called text area. So that person will be able to know that this area is called text area. When that person opens your test case, it's not logical yet. So this section is called text area because you start from it. You don't start from 4 sections, then the text area is located in the top left corner, image is located in the right top corner, table is located in the left bottom corner, and the image, the button is located in the right bottom corner. So you add those 5 test cases. How many sections? And each section where located. That's you start. And then you say, okay, then the text area consists of 3 lines of text. And the user knows, okay, the text area is that part that I already tested in the left top corner. And that person will be able to see if that's 3 lines or not. Got it? And then we'll test. And then the first line is, it should be, there are. The second line is, so this is what you did, but logically it should be somewhere over here, right? The text area is located in the left section. it's all of that. But I just want you to understand that it would be logically better if you just order it as in the requirements, right? So you test that in general. You don't test the uh, text area. You don't test image. You just test the first test case that you create is that the application itself has 4 sections. 1, 2, 3, 4. You test that. And then you say, okay, the left top section is text area. The right top section is image. And those are separate test cases. The third test case, left bottom section is table. Right bottom section is the button. So you have those 5 test cases. And then you start testing text area itself. You then start testing it. How many lines are there, the text color, the text size, everything else, right? You start testing that. Then you tested this part, you go to image, like logically, right? You see that logically going one by one. And in that case, your test cases will be able to understand as well. Way, much better. Okay?
Mhm.
You covered a lot, actually. So you did a great job. You covered a lot. As you can see, you covered the font families and colors and everything. But you missed some test cases. And imagine the case when there are not 4 sections, but 3 sections, right? And you just don't test that test case. You start from the text. So you start testing text, and it's working fine. You keep passing and saying that everything is okay. But this section, let's imagine, is missing. So there is no button, right? And since you didn't test that, you will have to execute a lot of test cases until you find your first bug, because the button is just missing. You didn't test that, right? So that's why just try to make it logical, because as more logical you make it, as it easier will be for other people to work with you in the team, right? And understand your work and etc. And you will look as a professional when you even will tell other people, oh, it will be more logical to do like this. But in general, this is the only feedback that I have about your test cases, because other than that, you covered everything. And yeah, I have an impression that you actually tested the application as well, right? You tried to test it, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. So yeah, it was not working. It was broken because uh, developers, they are not able to create application like right away in one day, right? So it takes time for them. So you may be able to access the application in that time, but it will not work. So you need to wait for the time when they tell you, hey, everything is working fine, you're ready to go. You're ready to go and test the application, right? So that time is not there yet. So that's why you didn't have to test it, because it was not like valid testing. The application was not ready. So today we actually will start testing, and you will be able to execute your test cases and see if there are bugs or not. So that's the feedback. And yeah, if you have time, so please try to also cover the other test cases and make them like in logical order. But I like that you break down everything to sections. But again, what I probably had to say last time, we didn't have to like change the layout of the document, because it's important to keep all the structure of the document, because we will use it to upload the test cases to Azure DevOps. That's why we have to keep the layout. Okay, so let me move forward.
Thank you for your feedback.
No problem. That's how we do, right? You have to know what to do better next time. And actually, on the main course, what we do, we have several sprints. So we have more lessons. One thing that we have more lessons for test planning. We have more lessons for bug reporting, right? And also we have more sprints. So we do several sprints, like several cycles. So you not only work on requirements once, but you do that once, then you do test cases creation, then you do bug reporting, then you do regression testing, and all of that you do in one cycle. And then you go to the next cycle and you do again requirements, test cases, test execution, bug reporting. Then you go to the third cycle. So we do several cycles. So you need to so you just understand how it works, right? So you go from one cycle to another, because this is what you mostly do actually when you work in the company. You like work cycle by cycle. You finished one cycle, there is new requirements for the next cycle. You go to again to the requirements, overview them, work with business analysts, create test cases, and etc. So you actually have the ability to improve your skills and test case creation, right? Because you do that few times. And your goal as a student is just to make sure that you improve. not do the same mistakes all the times, but the next cycle you improve, you don't do the same mistakes, and by the end of the course you are like professional, you don't do mistakes, you know what to do, everything, and how to do it, etc. So it's okay, because that's why we created the course. The course is just to make mistakes and to then highlight them and then not to do them in the future. So that's why the course exists, right?
Sure. Thank you.
Okay, then. Okay, so Ephraim didn't share the document, but then shared right away. And the test cases look detailed. Great. Yeah, that's what was my first impression. So whoever was not able to complete the test cases, guys, you're still able to do that. So when you will be watching this video, for example, some people were not able to attend the lesson. If you were watching the video, you still can do the test cases. I'll send them to this thread, your list of test cases, and I will check them. And if you're done them correctly, I will also mark your homework as done. If somebody didn't complete the test cases, because some people were not marked as done, right? So I will see Ephraim and Yakubi were not marked as done, and I will explain why. And if your guys will be able to fix the test cases according to my suggestions and then send it to me again, I will mark them as done, and you will be able to get the discount as well. So there is a time to do that, so just please do that. So here's my feedback again. Same thing, Ephraim was not covering all of those test cases. So all of the test cases, as you can see, there are missing test cases about the text properties, the alignment, font family, font size, etc. So none of them are here. And we have a lot of those, right? We have them for text area, we have them for the image, for the table, right? For everything, we have those attributes. And that's important to check, because this is how the application should be implemented. For example, if the button in our case is not 14 pixels, text size is not 14 pixels by 16, it's considered as bug, because somebody wanted it to be 14, not 15, not 13, not anything else, but 14. So it should be 14. And if this is something else, and you don't test it, you actually missed a bug. And if somebody finds it, if business analyst finds that bug and says, hey, it should be 14 pixels, but it's 16, and they will come to you and ask, hey, why didn't you catch this problem? It was clearly described in the requirements why you didn't catch it. So they will come to you and they will not think of you as a professional. That's why you have to cover every single requirement, even if you don't know at the moment how to test this, because we will just learn today. But you just need to create test case to make sure that the background is this, of the background of the button is this, and you don't care how to test it. You just create this case that checks that the background is correct. That's the main approach. That's one part of the feedback. And another part of the feedback seems like you didn't finish. You just stopped on the first name field, and there is no the rest of this cases. So if you're able to complete them, I will mark your homework as done as well. Okay. Other than that, other test cases are great. They look complete, actually, right? I'm able to understand everything correctly. So you're not just copy pasting, but create full sentences. So I'm able to understand the test case fully, which is great. Okay. So Daria, okay, Daria sent me test cases. They look great. Yeah, so Daria, the feedback is great. You covered everything. The test cases are full, etc. Everything's good. Okay, so Yakubi, I didn't get an access to your test cases. Let me double check right now. Not sure if Yakubi is here. I don't see the list of people. Yeah, still not there. So didn't get the access to Yakubi's test cases. That's why I didn't check them yet. Good. The only feedback I have about your test case is that you didn't cover all elements. Oh, same thing. So Gleb as well didn't cover the test cases about the sizes, colors, and everything else. Other than that, the test cases are good. So Irina, let me open your test case because I had some minor suggestions about your test cases. Okay, let me open a new tab, move it over here. No, okay. Okay, so minor feedback is that some of the test cases are not updated yet. So it's updated. It's not 15 right now. It's 5. It's actually, it was a just typo. So business analyst just accidentally added 1. So it shouldn't be 1 like mean 15. It should be just 5. So 1 was added just accidentally. It's not on purpose. So it should be 5 people. Oh man, where is that table? Over here. First 5 patients, then ellipsis, then the last patient in the queue. Right. So this is one thing. So you need to update according to updated requirements. So because your test cases are not final. Other than that, you covered everything, and also. And actually, that's it. No. Oh, wait a second. So you didn't cover as well the test case about this. So you covered only test case when it's empty, and test case when there are more 7 patients. But how to test it? We didn't cover this because we covered this on the main course. So when we create test cases, we use test design techniques, right? So in this case, the test design techniques that we use called equivalence partitioning. So there are 2 classes, actually 3 classes of equivalence partitioning, right? So one class is when it's empty. So there are 0 patients, right? Then the table displays this. It's only when the number of patients is 0. So you have to logically just think about it, how it works, in order to understand it. Then the next class of equivalence is from 1 to 7, and they work exactly the same. So if you have 1 patient, there will be 1 patient displayed. If you have 2 patients, there will be 2 patients displayed. If you have 7, there will be 7 patients displayed. So actually, it works the same from 1 to 7. That's second class of equivalence. It means like all the values in this class work the same. So whether you have 1 or 7, they work absolutely the same. And that's important to test. And the third class, it's 8 and more. So if you have 8 patients, you will see 5 ellipses and number 8. If you have 9, you will have 5 patients, ellipses, and number 9. If you have 100, you will see 5 patients, ellipses, and 100 patients. So from 8 and to infinity, they work the same. So you have 3 classes: 0, only 0, from 1 to 7, and from 8 to infinity. And another test design technique that helps us to actually test the application fully, it called boundary value analysis. So you don't have to test all the values. So for example, in order to test that the application works for 8 plus, you don't have to test 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and etc. till 100 or till 1,000 or till million patients in line. You don't have to do that because all of them should work the same. And that class, that test design technique says that you need to test only boundaries. For 0, it will be only 0. For this class, you test only boundaries, which is 1 patient, and you make sure that 1 patient is displayed and not this. And the another boundary is the max value, which is minimum value and max value. Max value is 7. So you test 0, and you make sure that it's 1 patient in line. Then you test 1, and you make sure that there is 1 displayed. Then you test 7, and you make sure that the 7 displayed. And then you test 12. In order to understand it better, let me just do like this: paint line. So you can imagine the line, and you have those values. You have 1, 0, 1, 7, then you have 8, and the rest. So there are boundaries, right? So this is one equivalence class, second equivalence class, and the third equivalence class. In this case, it's empty. Empty, and you see that message, right? Get in line to be first. When you have from 1 to 7, you get actually another all displayed, all all patients displayed. And when you have from 8 till infinity, you get 5 plus ellipsis plus last. So this is the 3 classes of equivalence that you have. And you don't have to test all of the values. You test only boundaries. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So you test 4 test cases in order to make sure that all of them work. In your case, you actually, if you skip one, I would accept that as correct test cases because you don't know the test design techniques. This is what we learned on the main course, and it's a deep QA knowledge. But logically, what you could actually understand from the requirements is that there are 3 behaviors: behavior number 1, behavior number 2, and behavior number 3, right? So you need to have 3 test cases. In your case, it was saying it displays a maximum of 7 rows at a time. This is just explanation for you. It's just this text is just like text created by business analyst. Business analyst doesn't create test cases. So this is not something that you need to test. It's just a general explanation that it displays 7 of rows at the time maximum. But then it's over here described in detail. Like if you have empty, you see this text. If you have more than 7 patients, you have this. If you have from 1 to 7, you have this. So in your case, you create test cases. Hey, if there is from 1 to 7, you see all of them. If there is empty, you see this. If there is 8 patients, then you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ellipsis, and number 8. So 3 test cases. Logically, it should be only 3 test cases. So in your case, I see if table is empty is this. In case if there are more than 7 patients. So you don't say more than 7, you say exactly what you will enter, which 8, for example. If there are more, if there are 7, if there are 8 patients in a line, then table displays 5 patients, ellipses, and then last patient, which is number 8. So same test case, absolutely, for 7. If there are 7 patients, 7 patients, not 7, not 1, 6, but 7. In case if there are 7 patients, you see all of them. If there are 7 patients, you see all of them. If there are 8 patients, you see 5 ellipses and the last one. If there are 0, you see the. So when you create test cases are not about something general. Test case about something very, very detailed. So you actually say how many patients you are going to test. And you're going to test. Ideally, you test 0, 1, 7, and 8. So those are like 4 test cases that you test, ideally, when you will become a professional. For now, just logically from the requirements, if you test 0, 7, and 8, that's absolutely acceptable for this level of knowledge that you have. Because logically, you see 3 pictures. You see 7 patients, you see 0 patients, and you see 12, but I mean like the minimum value that will get this behavior is 8 patients. So when you have 8 patients, you have that like boundary, right? So it's just the first value that shows you that behavior, because 7 will work differently, 8 should work like this. So that's minor feedback because you didn't have to do that. So you actually had this test case, so it displays maximum 7 rows at a time. So you had it. You had actually test case about empty table, and you had the test case. So you can remove this actually, because this is just a general test case. It's not a test case, it's a general text for you, just to say, hey, table displays 7 patients maximum. That's what it says, 7 rows. It means that it should be maximum 7 rows, right? Because you have 8, you still have 7. You have 5 plus 1, 6, and plus last one, 7. So you always have 7 rows. So this is what this general thing tells you. But then business analyst describes that in detail, and you test in detail. So you don't have to have that general explanation. You have to have detailed test cases saying that if it's empty, it's this. If it's 1, you see 1 patient. If it's 7, you see 7 patients, and you have 8, you see blah, blah, blah. Yes. So now it's ideal. Yes, thank you for fixing right away. Now it's ideal. So that's the only minor feedback. And of course, please fix if some of the test cases are not final, not actually corrected according to the final requirements, please do that as well, because they are marked still, as I see. Other than that, test cases look great. Everything's covered. A lot of test cases, right? More than 100. So look good. Thank you. Do you have any questions, Irina?
No, thank you so much. Thanks, I got it.
Thank you. Great test cases. So thank you for that. Okay, Luisa. Luisa, I believe your test cases are great. Let me see. Yes, test cases look great. And Nikki, same thing for you. Test cases look great. Okay. Yeah, I was not pointing those things that I just discussed to Irina, because this is not something that you had to do for today, right? And for Irina, since I pointed the other problems that she didn't finalize the test case, I had to point this as well. But this is not something that you had to do. Other than that is good. So whoever will be watching this video and not attending this lesson, if you want to submit your test cases, you're able to do it. If you want me to get the feedback, from me, do the same, right? So just submit test cases, let me know. Yakubi, please, I don't have an access to your test cases, so please share them with me. I will be able to provide my feedback as well. And Ephraim, if you're able to complete your test cases, please also let me know. I will be able to mark your homework as passed. Other than that, whoever completed the homework, good job, guys. These cases look great, especially considering the fact that this is our first lesson, right? So today is our second lesson, but before we start covering our main topic, which is test execution and bug reporting, do you guys have any questions about the previous homework, about anything else? Any other questions before we start? Okay, seems like, let me quickly check the chat. I don't see the chat. Okay, got it. Okay, good. So no questions. So today our topic is test execution and bug reporting. So let me open our first lesson. Where is that? So this is it. As you remember, on the first lesson, I will just explaining you that we start from the requirements first, right? So our goal is just to review the requirements, make sure they are final, right? So this is our first step. And again, I will repeat again that it's very important to work on the requirements, because imagine you didn't catch all those problems that we had in the requirements. Just imagine, right? You had a lot of questions, like the button name was not matching because somebody forgot to just remove the old text, and etc. And developers, there is not only one single developer working on the application, but many. And one developer took part of the requirements and started implementing one button. Another developer took another part of the requirements, then opened the code and see, okay, so somebody already created the button blue color, but in my part of the requirements, it says yellow. So that developer changed the color of the button to yellow, which is incorrect because that was old info or something like that, right? So, and created a bug. Then what happens? Then you start executing the test cases. And you check that this button should be blue, but it's not blue, it's red, right? Like in our case, the button is red, for example, right? And that what happens, nobody checked the requirements, and there was a contradiction. In one part, it was saying blue, and another part, it was saying red. So one developer actually created blue button, another developer, and the second developer who worked on the second part of the requirements is just override this code and just change the color to red, thinking that it's correct. But eventually, it was problem in the requirements. So you get a bug. Now you go and test your test cases, execute them, and you create a bug report. So you spend time. You spend a few minutes to actually create the test bug report, type the text, attach a screenshot, right? Make a screenshot and attach it. And then developer opens the bug, reads that bug, then goes to the code and tries to fix that. Then fixes it, creates a pull request. Then somebody has to go and approve that pull request. That pull request get merged. And then you get the new version of the application with fixed button, which is blue. Now, and now you have to go and make sure that it's blue. So you open that bug report again, go and check that button is blue now, and now you write a comment saying that, oh, it's blue now, so okay, bug report is closed. So imagine, just because of that simple problem, you had to spend a lot of time reporting bug, developer has to spend a lot of time fixing it, and then you had to actually test that bug report again to make sure it was really fixed. And that's when it's ideal process. But in most of the cases, developers not able to understand something, they ask you questions about the bug report. You sometimes had to have a call with them and explain them something in your bug report, right? So you spend additional time. And sometimes it's reproducible. It was not fixed. You actually sent that bug report again to developers saying it was not fixed. Fix it again, and etc. So sometimes one single bug report takes a lot of time from the team, from you, from developer, from you again, or from your teammate who will be testing it. So it takes time. It means the company has to pay for all of this time. And that's just in case of a single bug report, when you didn't find this contradiction about different colors of the button, in case of single bug report. And imagine if you have 100 bug reports, because the requirements were not clear, developers created a lot of bugs, and you found all of them, and you reported them, and so much money company wasted, and so much time your team wasted. Your company just burnt money, because company pays you money for your work, and your work is to report bugs, right? And instead of like working on the next chunk of the requirements, on the new functionality, you work on a lot of bug reports, which could be prevented by just working on the requirements and making them clear, right? So you work on the requirements as the first step to make them clear, so there are no contradictions, there are no ambiguities, and other stuff, right? So when developers take those requirements and work with them and create the application based on them, they are super clear, and nobody will create bug reports. There will be bugs. There are always bugs in the system, but I mean, like, you will have less bugs. By just working on the requirements, you will save a lot of money and resources for the company. That's the first step, and why you do that. The second step is creating the test cases. And that's also very important, because if you don't use test design techniques, if you don't cover all the requirements, you will miss something, right? And you will again waste time, waste resources, and just burn money of your company. And your company hires you as a professional who is able to understand why is that important, why every step is important, why working on the requirements is important, why creating the detailed test cases is important. Because if your test cases are not detailed and somebody else will be testing them, let's say somebody new came to your company, joined your team, and your lead assigns your test cases to that person, and that person will have a lot of questions because your test cases are not clear, are not detailed. That person will have a lot of questions. You will have to sit with that person, explain, and waste your time and waste that person's time. If you create detailed test cases, you actually save time, because nobody will have questions. And even for you, it will be much easier to test the test cases later. That's why the working on the test cases and following all the rules, and not just trying to copy paste, but actually, put effort to create detailed test cases is important. And then what happens? Once you have the application, you start testing. You actually start checking the test cases, pass or fail, right? So this is the next step that we're going to do. We're going to just open the application, open our test cases, and start marking the test cases pass or fail. That's the next step. And then once you find the problem, the discrepancy, something is not working, then you create bug report. So that's what we do. That's the main cycle. And those two parts at the bottom, this is what we're going to do today. So today we're going to start executing our test cases and start reporting bug reports in case if there are problems, there are mismatches between actual and expected result. So if something is not matching what you expect in the requirements, you report a bug. So bug report, software bug, is just a mismatch or a difference between actual and expected result. So actual result, what you see in the application, expected result, what was expected in the requirements. And that's pretty much it. That's about what we do. But all of those phases, during all of those phases, you have to follow specific rules. How you overview the requirements, and you really try to understand the application. You really read them and try to find those problems just to save time and do your job. Really do your job. Because at this point, you don't do something for yourself, you do something for the entire project, for the entire company. You prevent appearing of the bugs, because more problems you find in the requirements, less bugs you find later. And that means the application will be better and the company will be paying money for that. And if you will be able to understand how this works, believe me, like, you will quickly become a lead or a manager, because just few people I know understand why we do this. Most people, they just joined the project and they just like overview the requirements so because, oh, this is something I need to do. And why I need to do that, I don't know. This is just my job, I do that, right? Why I create detailed test case, I don't know. I just try to do that, and not ideally sometimes, but I just do that because this is my job. Then I execute, very easy, because I just mark pass or fail, and then I report bugs, and not ideal bugs sometimes. And I don't care. More bugs, more time I have to spend, the company will pay me money for that. And those people just stay at the same level. But only those people who understand why and how actually we save money for the project, for the company, save resources, how we prevent bugs by working the requirements, creating detailed test cases, all of that makes you very like specific person that will probably become a lead or a manager pretty soon. Because if you have that understanding, you will be one of the few people on the project who will drive the quality, and the company will tell you thank you, and he probably will promote you soon to some leading or management position. So that's why, please remember about this, because this is what makes you professional. Because testers are just people who create test cases, execute them, and report bugs. Those are testers, because they just test. Quality assurance engineers, the people who assure quality on the project, those people who are able to understand why we do all of this and how we improve the quality of the application by just working the requirements. And those are quality assurance engineers. So that's the main difference. Quality assurance engineers, they try to see the project in general and try to improve all the processes. Even if you spend a lot of time with talking to developers, you try to analyze why developers are spending so much time working on our bug reports. And then you see that your teammates, other people in your team, create not detailed bug reports. So it's hard for developers to understand them. So they have to call, they have to ask, and we just waste time as a team. And then you, as a quality assurance engineer, say, hey guys, we have to follow specific rules when you create bug reports, right? And this is the rules, and you create document. And that's how quality assurance engineers work. They provide suggestions. They improve not only program by finding bugs, but fixing the processes, trying to prevent bugs, right, by working on documentation. Try to see that everybody following the rules. That is the job of the quality assurance engineers, and that's the main difference. Testers just test and report bugs. Quality assurance engineers, they just overview the project in general and try to improve not only quality of the application itself, but the quality of the processes itself. So we have more time, we have less bugs, and we save time, we work efficiently. That is quality assurance. That's what you need to understand. Is that clear? Okay. Okay, I hope I was able to understand that, to explain that. So we were working on this, on the requirements and the test case creation. That is without application. So now, today we have an application ready. So today we will start executing the test cases, like marking the pass or fail. And if we mark it as fail, we will start reporting bugs, software bugs. So that's what we're going to do today. So let me just open the presentation. As I already explained, software bug is a mismatch between expected and actual results. So when you actually test your test case is expected result, right? Because you just took that from the requirements. So because your test cases are just like whatever you see in the requirements, you just cover the requirements by test cases, separate test cases. So your test case, a single test case, is an expected result. And if you test the application and you see that what you see in the application, which is actual result, it's not matching what you expect, it's a software bug. And a simple example, you expect button to be blue, but it's red. Is that a software bug or not?
Yes.
Yes, it's a software bug. Because you expect blue, but get red. So obviously it's not matching. So that's why it's a software bug. So when somebody asks you on the interview, what is a software bug? It's a mismatch or it's a difference between expected and actual results. And that's it. That's it. Pretty much it about software bug. Okay, why is it moving? Okay. So this is the bug report structure, Azure DevOps. So it has a summary or short title. So this is the name of the bug, right? So this short description. So because how we see the bug reports most of the time, let me show you how it looks. So for example, this is the Azure DevOps, and then let me show like work items. So there are like thousands. So we have 9,350 items in our project. So this is 9,000 items, work items. There are tasks, user stories, bugs, and etc. Right? Test cases. So there is a lot of things we have. But this is all of them should have short summary. And if I need to, for example, find the bugs type, for example, I need to see only bugs, right? Why there are only 3 bugs over here? Interesting. But anyways, yeah. So this is what I see most of the time. And if I have like thousands of bugs in my list, and I need to find one, of course I will be filtering by keywords, something like maybe table, whatever I'm looking for. For example, characters. For example, characters, 100 characters. In this case, it filters out 2 bugs, but it may be like thousands of bugs about the same thing, right? And in order for me to quickly understand which bug I'm looking for, I will be able to see that by only this. Or I can, of course, I can open it sometimes and try to understand the steps to reproduce the actual result and etc. But it's very long process, right? If I need to open every single bug in order to understand what I'm looking for in the list, right? So that's why this title or short summary or description is very, very important. It's the most probably important part of the bug report, because people will be able to quickly understand it just from reading this. And this summary is displayed everywhere. So it's displayed in the list of bug reports. When we work in sprints and we see that on the dashboard, we always see the short description of the task or the bug report on the task itself. So this square is a task or bug. So if I create bug, it will also look as a square, right? As a square. And I will have short summary over here. And this is task on that bug, for example, right? So I will see this bug, and I will see the short summary. Let me add something. Save and close over here as well. And if developer says like 20 bugs, and in order to understand which bug, needs to be open. Developer has to understand it, has to be able to understand it right away just from reading the summary, from reading this short title, right? So that's why it's very important to follow the rules in creating this short title. So this short title actually has to explain the problem, even without steps reproduce, without anything else. So that's how it looks like. So it has a short summary, and that will be displayed in the lists, on the boards, everywhere. So this is the summary. And then you have inside steps to reproduce. This is the main. So those are 5 parts of the bug, the main parts of the bug. There can be any others, right? It can have state, reason, area, iteration, blah, blah, blah. Those are not important because they will differ on different projects. But the parts that every software bug report has on every project, it's a summary. It's always there. Steps to reproduce, always there. Actual result and expect. And attachments as well. So you actually add a screenshot or a video recording to actually explain your bug in details, etc. So those parts are always there. So these can be different on different projects, like states, areas, sprints, whatever. It all can be different. But these main parts, 5 parts, are always the same. Those are main bug reports parts. So short summary, just a short explanation of the problem. Oh, what happened? Short explanation of the problem. Then steps reproduce. It's just the steps how to get to the problem. So actually, you open the application. Let's just imagine the problem that we have quickly. So I click this, and let's say I see empty form. Let's imagine that I have empty form, right? So this is my problem. So actually, let me simulate that if I can. So this, can I actually, no, not like this. If I remove this, no, why is that? I'm just trying to simulate that in my browser like this. What if I do this? Okay, let's like this. So the form is missing, just the buttons are present, right? Let's see like this. So I have this situation, right? So in steps to reproduce, actually, how to get this? I need to open the application. I need to click this button, and then I need to pay attention to the pop-up, or to this pop-up, right? So 3 steps. I can actually skip the third one, which is pay attention to the pop-up, right? But the 2 steps, which is open the application and click the button, are mandatory. I have to do that to get my bug report. So those are the steps to reproduce. When you need to do something specific, you actually need to do those steps to reproduce, right? So then in my case, it will look like open the application. In this case, inspect login page, but in my case, it will be click get inline button. And then actual result, what I see, the form on the pop-up is missing. Expected result, the form is present. And I actually can even make a screenshot from the requirements and paste them, saying, oh, this is the form, how it should look like, right? So this is the form. I can make this screenshot, I just copy paste, and I can actually make a screenshot of the actual result as well. So that, and I covered the 5th attachment as well, because we usually make a screenshot to show developer better what happens, right? So it's very simple. So short summary, and I will just explain you how to actually write correct and beautiful short summary. But steps to reproduce actual and expected results are very simple. So you say, hey, in order to reproduce this bug, open the application, click the button, and take a look in the middle of the screen, right, where the pop-up opens. And the actual result, the form is missing. Expected result, the form is present. For the actual result, actually, you paste the attachment to see that the form is missing, right? And that's pretty much it. And we will do this today. So I will show you how to actually do that, how to add the attachment and etc. But anyways, you add the attachment so developer can see what actually happens and quickly able to understand your problem and fix it. Because if it's unclear, if your actual result is unclear, as expected result is unclear, the developer will ask you additional questions. You will, again, waste more time, and etc. So all we do is just to trying to save time for developer, for our colleagues, because sometimes you report bug, developer fixes that bug, you go to vacation, and your colleagues will be testing the bugs you reported, right, to make sure that they are fixed. So they will be as well reading your summary, steps to reproduce, actual, and expected. So please do not use complex sentences. Try to name your bug report simply. Try to make steps to reproduce very clear and short, like, oh, hey, open the app, click the button, enter first name, enter last name, blah, blah, blah. Something like very short and short, right? And very clear. You don't have to write sentences, long sentences here. Same for actual and expected. Very short, clear, and that's it. So everybody should be able to understand it. If you need 5 steps, it will be 5 steps. If you need just, let's say, you open the application and you already see the problem. For example, there are 3 sections, not 4, but 3. There will be one single step, open the app. And that's it, an actual result. There are 3 sections displayed, expected result, there are 4 sections displayed, and etc. So, right, sometimes there are single steps produced because it's visible right away. Sometimes you need to add the patient, and something happens when you actually add the patient to the line. So you actually need to say, open the application, click get in line button, specify first name, specify last name, birthday, select vaccine, click submit, and then click close, right, when you have that opened. And then you will be able to see the table and etc. So you will have like 6 or 7 steps to produce, but they should be short, like specify first name, 1 step, specify last name, 2nd step, and etc. So they should be actually short and clear. So nobody has a question for you. Hey, what do you mean over there? So you use complex sentences. Sometimes people have problems with English, right? So even if you try to translate, for example, you go to Google Translate, and that's what I was doing in long time ago. I was actually writing in my native language and translating to English to create bug reports, just to make sure that I do that properly, right? Not using stupid sentences. So I was doing that. But I was always using, even in my native language, simple sentences, not creating like complex sentences with a lot of commas or whatever. You always use simple sentences. So as simple you use it, as better translation will be. Because if you use complex sentence in your native language, translator will also have troubles to translating it properly. That's why simple English always works better, because especially in the United States, you work in multicultural environment. Everybody came from somewhere, right? Not everybody is with ideal English and etc. So if you use simple English, simple statements, simple steps, words, it will always work. Everybody will be able to understand it. So again, your goal at this moment will be to create very clear bug reports. They should be very clear. Nobody should have a question about it. And please, one thing I'm asking you about, you are professionals and you are ensuring that the application is high quality, right? According to all the requirements. It's implemented properly, it works properly. That's why you look for the bug reports. You actually have to pay attention to every single detail and just, report all of those problems. So you have ideal application. It works just ideally. That's your main goal. And if you feel like that, if you would like to actually make it better and find all the problems, you already can say that you are a good tester. But in order to prove that, I want you, when you create the bug report, you actually keep it clear. Every step to reproduce is actually numbered. So step number 1, then you do enter. Step number 2, enter. Step number 3, enter, and then something like that. Not mixed, not like this, right? Some artifacts, something misplaced or whatever. No, I want you to be clear, like 1, blah, blah, blah. 2, blah, blah, blah. Everything is super clear, super nice, aligned. So you show how it should be. Because if you try to test the application and tell developers, hey, it should be super nicely aligned in the application according to the requirements, but your bug report looks like a mess, it like doesn't correspond to each other, right? So you are a professional who's trying to tell developers that they didn't do their job well and everything should be aligned properly, the colors should be correct, all the pixels should be in place, right? But you cannot create a beautiful and nice bug report. So your bug report should be like super nice, super clear, no misalignments, nothing like that, super nice, because you are professional. And if you tell others how to do better, you have to also, show that level of confidence, a level of details, and level of quality in your test cases, your bug reports, and etc. So that's why this is what I expect from you when you create test cases, when you create bug reports. I want everything to be beautiful, clear, and etc. Okay, so let's go back here. So we will get to this in detail once we start creating bug reports, but those are just like 5 main parts of the bug report. Again, summary, short description of the bug report, then steps to reproduce, how to actually reproduce it, what user needs to do to reproduce it, or developer, or other tester, then actual result, what you see, and then expected, what you expect to see, which comes from the requirement. This comes from your eyes, what you see actually. And of course, you add attachment to actually show the problem to developer to better understand the problem. Okay, I already said that. Bug report is a technical document, right? So use simple technical English, no complex sentences, whatever. It will be easier for you and easier for others to actually understand your bug report. So especially for people with bad English, because some people came to me saying, hey, I have a bad English. I'm not even sure if I will be able to take your course. So I said, hey, come to the free course and I will just show you. If you're able to understand me at my speed, that means that you're able to understand people. It's okay, right? And another suggestion, especially for people who has not ideal English. In this case, you don't have to use complex sentences. You just need to use simple words like click, press, enter. It's like very simple words for the things that you're doing on the website. If you need to click the button, you say click the button. If you need to scroll, you say scroll. If you need to enter data in the field, you say enter first name, enter last name, right? So it's very simple. Clicking, entering, scrolling, right? So just few words and that's it. So any person with any level of English can create a bug report, because bug report means very technical, simple document. So there should not be complex sentences and long statements and etc. It should be very simple, very short. So, okay. And this is the main important rule. As I mentioned, short summary is very important part of the bug report, because we see short summary everywhere. If we see the list of bugs, we see their short summary. If we see our board where we work, so actually the board, this is the place we work. So all of those sprints, you see, every sprint has a user story, right? All of them has tasks, bug reports, and we move them from to do to done. So our goal is to move them from to do to done. First of all, developers work on that. When something is done, they move it to ready for QA, then we test it, and then we try to move it to done. If it's not working, we move it back to developer, to active state, and etc. So our goal is to move everything to done. So all the tasks that we have, all the bug reports, what we see is a short summary. So this short summary should be super clear. So I should be able to read the short summary and understand what's wrong, what is the problem with this application, right? So that's why we have a specific rules for the short summary. So short summary has to answer 3 questions, ideally. What happened? So what is the problem actually? Where it happened actually? Especially when that problem can potentially happen in many places, and when it happens. When means not the time, but when you do something specific for that to happen, right? So for example, the table looks good, but when you enter a new patient, then something is broken. So then you answer, something is broken in the table when you enter a new patient, right? So actually, for example, just imagine the case. So we test the application. So here, let me open the requirements. It has like three columns, right? So imagine the case. When you open the application, it has 3 columns, and it works correctly. But when you enter a new patient, you click Get in Line, you fill the form, click Submit. It shows you this, that your ID is this, and you close it, and you see the new patient, number 4, for example, in the table, right? So in that case, when you enter a new patient, it adds actually number in middle, name over here, and ID over here. So it like breaks the table. So there's like 4th column appears in the table, and the first is empty. So imagine that like we have that case. So the table is broken. So there is like 4th column appears. So actually, how you will describe that problem, right? So you can say that 4th column appears. So that's what happened. 4th column appears in the patient table, right? Because it's where in the patient table when you enter a new patient to the queue, right? So you answer 3 questions. What happens? There's a 4th column where it can be the page, it can be the exact element, for example, table, or on the login page, whatever. So in our case, the table in the patient's table when you enter a new patient to the line, right? So you enter 4 questions, and now imagine I have this bug report on my board over here, and it says, let me raise it. Let me actually report it. So 4th, like this, 4th column appears in the patient table when add a new patient to the queue. Right? So I have this add new patient to the queue. Blah 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 blah. I define something, right? And see, oh, actually, patient in the patient table. Oh, I can say in the table, right? In the table, because I know that we have one table, single table, so we have the table, right? Okay, so now I'm able to see this, right? Only this, or I can go to the work items and I will see the list of all the bugs that I see, right, and etc. Right? So and developers, they may see a lot of bugs, right? Here are bugs and here are bugs, and all those bugs that we see here, they were in to do initially. So developers pick them from here, start working on them, and move to active. This is how developers work. Hey, how did I miss my bug? Where's my bug? Where is my bug that I just created? Where is it? Oh no. I just lost it. Let me try to find it. Oh, here it is, right? So 4th column appears in the table when add new patient to the, and that is missing because it's too much text in my summary, but etc. I'm able to understand the problem right away from just reading the summary. I don't have to even to open it and actually read the steps reproduce. I don't have to read the expected and actual, right? Because I'm able to understand it from summary, just from reading the summary, and that's it. I just took a look at the remaining 5 bugs over here and say, okay, this is probably the most important one. So I move it to active and start working on it. So I don't have to open all of them. And again, why you do this? So people can quickly see the problem, can quickly assign it, reassign it, fix it, and etc. So you save time. When developer every day, Like you work with developer for 3 years, and every day developer has to open all your bugs to read them and to understand them, because your summary doesn't make sense, right? And they are not clear. And developer has to open all your bugs and read them, and then make sure that developer understands, and then move to active one of them to start working on the most important one. How much time that developer will spend in 3 years if that happens daily? Imagine how much money company will waste just on that. So everything you do, everything, starting from requirements to creating test cases, is about ensuring that everything works. You save time, you save money, you save resources, you make processes efficient, and etc. So that's all you do. And you cannot tell other people that they have to follow some specific rules, and they have to do something specific, they have to fix bugs, they have to make application better, if you don't follow the rules yourself. So you have to follow those rules yourself first. So then you can tell other people that, hey, you have to fix something here, over here, over here, or something's not correct over there, right? Or your pixel over here is like, there is like one more pixel spacing over here than it's expected, right? So you actually have to follow those rules, because you save time, resources, and you create great summaries just for people to be able to quickly understand your problem, quickly find the problem, specific problem, from the thousands of other problems, right? Quickly able to see it and select it and do something with it, or open it, or whatever, but find it quickly. So that's why we define detailed summary, again, using simple words, right? But trying to answer 3 questions. You sometimes not able to answer all the 3, because sometimes, for example, you open the website and the website is empty. So when it happens? Always, right? It always happens. So what happens? The home page is empty. You don't have to say when you open it, because you need to open it, right? So sometimes you don't answer when. So sometimes not even where, because you already said home. So empty, the page is empty, but where, you already answered, the home page is empty. Home page is empty. So actually, your bug report will be just the home page is empty, or the home page is blank, right? And that's it. So sometimes you don't have to answer these questions, because where, you already answered, it's a home page. And when, it's always, you just open the application and you see the home page is blank, so you cannot do anything else, right? So sometimes you don't have to answer, but if there is a chance you can answer those questions, you have to answer them. That will make your short summary very clear, and, as I say, ideal short summary. So you answer all the 3 questions. So you explain what happened, where exactly it happened, and when you do something specific. That's how you define short summary. And that's pretty much it. Steps to reproduce, very simple. You just say what to do in the bug report, and then actual result, what you see, and expected, what you expect to see. And that's it. And then you make a screenshot, which I will tell you how, and that's pretty much it. Very simple. So bug report is not difficult, but you need to learn how to create great summaries. Okay, best practices. Summary in steps to reproduce should be short and descriptive. The difference, of course, it should be super clear between actual and expected, because that's what makes bug report, right? If there is no difference between expected result and actual, that means you don't have a bug. You report bug only if there is a difference between what you see and what you expect. Only in that case you create a bug report. And that's what makes bug report. So please make sure that the difference is very clear. There is a funny story about this. So how you actually define the expected result and actual result again. So, oh man, let me open this. Oh, this. Yeah, so as you can see, here it's very simple, right? So password link is missing. An expected result, password link should be present under the login button. And that's what you expect. And what you expect expect comes from the requirements or from your test cases, because you will be executing test cases, and your test cases based on the requirements. So you will have this all the times, because this is what you expect. And this is what you need to describe. But the only rule applies here is it should be very clear what is the difference. So in this case, it's clear because it should be present, and right now it's missing. So obviously, it's a very big difference, right? But sometimes it's more hard to describe. So the funny story about this, so I used to work with testers from, I believe they were from India, and in one of the companies we had a process when the third-party company, they were coming at the end of the sprint and doing regression testing for us, like running thousands of test cases and trying to find some bugs. So, and they were reporting bugs in the system. We saw those bugs as well. So, and they were so funny because what they were doing, so eventually they were executing test cases, but the actual result didn't expect it. For example, the color of the button is incorrect, right? Is incorrect. It doesn't say which color exactly, so that's a problem. And the expected result was much more funnier. It's what's saying should be correct. So developer opens the bug and reads, okay, the color is incorrect, good, but what is the expected result? Should be correct. And developer just doesn't know what to do, because what is correct actually, right? So you have the expected result in your test cases. So you actually have to define, hey, it should be specific. Like, for example, the color of the button is incorrect. So your expected result should be button color is RGB, blah, blah, blah. So it should be exact expected result that you have in the requirements. Not should be correct, not something like that, but exact color. And the actual result, if you inspected the color and you see that it's the color that you see in the browser is 147, 250, right? So you actually say actual result is that, and expected result is this from the requirements, from my test cases. Right? So this is actually how you actually show the difference. So the numbers are different and etc. Not should be correct. So this is one of the examples. And please add attachments, and I will show you how to do that. Attachments. So in most of the cases, screenshots. So you just create a screenshot if something is not working, and highlight it for the developer, like using arrows and etc. So developer can easily find the problem. And of course, one problem, one bug report. Do not like try to put a lot of problems in one bug report, because we try to keep them separately, fix them separately, and for the reporting purposes and everything else. So one problem, one failed test case, one bug report. And that's pretty much it. So let's actually move to our test cases. So your test cases should look like this. All of them should have this field with pass-fail criteria, something like this, right? So if you don't have all of them, so what you can do, you select part of this and drag this up, or you need to add more over here. For example, you have test cases over here. You also drag this, select this, and then drag it to the bottom. So you add more fields to pass-fail. Because the next step that you're going to do is you read your test case and you open your application. So your application, actually, let me actually send the application link to you. So this application link will be posted in the homework. So I will give you this, what's that? This slide. It has a homework. So this is execute test cases, mark and fail, and this is the website that you use, and report bugs in this form. So we have a bug report form. So it has a reporter, your name, should be your name. It has a short summary. This is what you need to define. It's a short summary. Then steps to reproduce. You click enter, it will add a new field, and etc. Right? So an actual result, and add file. Right? So you actually save screenshot and then select it from your computer and then upload it here. So this form will come to me, and I will see your bug reports, how you report them, right? With the attachments as well. So all of those should be marked, and you just need to follow the rules. I will actually share this with you. So when you are not sure about something, you can always open the short summary rule. You can open just few slides, but you can open them and just refresh your memory and maybe use this rule for the bug report, because this is the main thing I want you to focus on, because step reduce are simple. Expected result is what you have in your test cases. Expected result you have in your test cases, and step reduce are simple. It's just the steps that the user has to do to get from the basic state of the application. Let's say you open the application, and how to actually see the new user. You have to click this button, like open the application, click the button, add first name, last name, birthday, select Moderna, for example, click submit. Click submit. It will take some time because probably the server is sleeping. So let me wait. It's 20 seconds. And then I have to close this window. And I will see new patient. Right? Yes. Finally. And I click close, and then I see new patient. So all of those steps you have to explain. If your bug happens over here, right? So you have to say, okay, open the application, click this, add this, define the birthday, select Moderna or Pfizer, whatever, and click submit. Well, again, same thing. Again, like this, last name, and close, right? And etc. If you need me to clean the list to see the 0 patients, let me know. Just type me in the text, hey, Arthur, can you make 0 patients in the queue, right? And I will make it for you. I make 0, so you all can test, right? 0 patients. And then can you add more? You can add more. Like you can add like 7 patients and you will see 7. Then you add 1 more and you see 8. If you, for example, something happens with the number of patients, you don't have to like explain 100 of steps, meaning like open the application, there are 0 patients, then click get in line, first name, last name, birthday, Pfizer, submit. Then again, click get line again, first name, last name. You just say something general. Hey, open the application, add 7 patients to the line, and then pay attention to the table, right? So 3 steps actually, because generally I have to know how to add patient to the line as a developer, right? Or a tester. So actually, sometimes if something can be described generally, just describe that in general, like add patient to the line. But if something specific happens, so you need to actually state that add the first name, right? Leave last name empty. Define the birthday, for example, like this. Select vaccine and click submit. And for example, last name doesn't have an error, right? This is the problem. So last name doesn't have an error. That's our problem. And in that case, you have to say define first name, define birthday, select Moderna, and click submit. And your actual result, last name is not highlighted in red. Expected result, last name is highlighted in red, right? So in that case, you specifically have to state, open the application, click the button, define first name, leave last name empty, define birthday, and click submit, or select vaccine and click submit. In that case, you have to actually mention all steps because they are important, because you need to actually tell me that I have to fill these fields, select vaccine and click submit, but leave this empty. But if in general, I just need to add patient, that means I have to enter correct information to add a patient. And your steps is just you add 8 patients to the line and then see the result. Something is broken, for example, right? Then you just say, hey, open the application, add 8 patients, and then take a look at the table, right? And there is something happens. Something is broken, for example, right? So then it's like that. Is that clear? Xusha is asking. So in a bug report, in a section steps to produce, I just explained steps. I have to see the results or problem, right? Yes, so the steps from the basic state of the application, when you just open it, right? To that place when you see the problem. What, for example, imagine me. You are telling this to me. Hey, Arthur, in order for me to be able to reproduce your bug, what should I do? when you create steps to reproduce, imagine that I will be doing that. So when you write your steps to reproduce, you tell, hey, Arthur, to find my bug that I found, hey, go and open the application, add 8 patients to the line, and then take a look at the table. And you will see, then you say actual result. The table is broken, whatever, right? An expected result, the table should show 5 patients, ellipsis, and then the last patient, right? And etc. So something like that. So this is how it works. So you explain actually to me, right? To another person. So those steps just should explain to another person how to actually get from basic state to your bug report that you see. Yeah, actually, I will be showing. Alexandra is asking that, can you show one bug? Yes, I will actually maybe show not even one bug or even a few bug reports, how we report them. So you can do that as well. So this is the form that I will share with you. So your homework will be go and execute your test cases. Again, if you have problems with the test cases, you can always go to the same form that I have. Always make another copy and just copy paste your test cases. So you have this form intact over here, not broken over here, not broken over here. If you need more IDs, you select few last IDs, right? And just drag this blue square to the bottom and you add more, right? IDs, add more IDs, and like this, even scroll to, if somebody has 100, right? 100, oh man, 100 test cases, right? So you just move like this, and you have those IDs. Then the work item, same thing. Select one, move it. Oh man, come on, 200, right? So you need more those pass-fail work because this is simple field, and this is drop-down list. If you need more drop-down list, again, same thing. You select one and drag and drop. Select this, click the mouse button and hold it and drag and drop to the bottom and create more pass and fail because your goal will be at home. Let me select this as well. Drag and drop it to 100. Oh man, lost it. Okay, till here, right? And now I covered 100 test cases. So now what you need to do, you open your test cases, read the test case, open the application. I will share this link with you. Open the application and then see. Okay, this is the application. First of all, first, my test case. By navigating to the application, user can see 4 sections. Okay, 1 section, 2, 3, 4. Good. I can see 4 sections. So I mark this test case as pass because my expected result, what I expect here, is matching actual what I see in the application, right? Then the text area is displayed in the top left section of the page. Yeah, the text area is top left. Good. Pass. The image is displayed in the top right section of the page. Okay. Yes, it's top right. Good. Pass. The table is displayed in the bottom left section of the page. Good. Pass. Join the queue. Oh man, I didn't fix the problem. I didn't fix the problem, guys, that you fixed already. See that? Because my test cases are not final as well. So that's why it was okay for you to do that as well. Okay, pass. The text area consists of 3 lines of text. Let's go back. No, fail. Fail, actually. Actually, I have a suspicion. Yes, that's correct. So I was suspecting that this is a single line, and it actually just changes from the size of the screen. Yes, of course. Yeah. So actually, it's a 1 single line instead of 3. It's not 3 lines, but it's a 1 line. So here's the problem. There is a 1 line of text, not 3, right? So here's the thing, expected result. Text area consists of 3 lines of text, but I have 1 line of text. So actually I say, I go open my bug report form and say, Arthur, summary, text area consists of a single single line of text. Okay, so now we are trying to answer 3 questions. So what happens? Actually, so what happens is what we already stated. The text area consists of one single line of text. So this is what happened. What actually the problem is, right? Then where it happens. Since we already said that this is the text area, we don't have to say exactly. But if the text area also displayed, we have many pages of the application, right? We have one page, another page, and it's normal on one page, but it's broken on another page. Then you have to mention the page, for example, on the home page, right? In that case, if you have few text areas on different pages, then you actually mention where it's located, on which page, on which element, especially, right? And when it happens, it always happens. Or you can say, actually, in this case, I can measure the size of the screen. So actually, what to do? Okay, so one of the requirements that we have is we test in Chrome. So please, if you test another browser, switch to Chrome. This is the expected browser that will be installed on the laptops, not the laptop, tablets in that clinic. So we will be using Chrome. That's why the Chrome our main browser. And if you test in another browser, your behavior can be different, not like we expect on that tablet. So we test in Chrome, and you please test in Chrome. So one thing. Second thing, you can inspect. So today I will teach you how to use inspector. Use inspect. And here there is a beautiful feature over here. So you can click over here and you can look by the elements. So you can select elements. See, I selected image. I can select it. I can actually select the button, right? I selected the button, and here is the button tag, as you can see. I can select the text, as you can see, select the text, right? I can select the table. Oh, how to select the entire table? Like this, probably. Table, right? Yeah, table over here, right? And etc. So this is one tool that you can use over here. Another tool is this device toggle. So you can actually simulate the behavior on different devices, and you will rotate the device, right? So what we're going to do, I'm going to do responsive. From the devices, select responsive. And in responsive mode, I can actually change the resolution of the screen to see actually how my application will look like in different resolutions. Let's see, I would like to test 140. Oh, it's still 2 lines. Okay, 150. 1500. Okay, good. Let me go back 104.50. I'm trying to find the resolution when it first happens. Set 60, 70, 80, 90. Okay, good. Maybe then 85, 85, no. 86, 87. Oh, yes. So for 1486, I have 2 lines. 47, I have 1 line of text. Okay, good. So this is what I'm going to copy. And what I need this, I just wanted to let developer know exact resolution it happens in, right? So I can say that the text area consists of a single lines of text on the home. I will remove on the home page because we obviously have only one single page, so we don't have to answer the question where in this case. In case if you actually something happens in the pop-up that you have to actually open by clicking the button, then you have to actually mention that it happens in the pop-up when you click the button, right? So you answer the question, what happens on that pop-up? Then it where happens on the pop-up, and then when it happens when you click the button and do something on the pop-up, right? So you have to answer 3 questions. In this case, we will answer only 2 questions, which is what happens, which we already have. The text area consists of single line of text. This is the problem. So where it happens on the main page, the only page that we have, and we have it right away when you open the application. So you don't have to actually specifically mention developer where to go. it's okay. But it's specifically important in this case to mention when it happens. When the resolution, when the width of the screen more unequal than pixels, right? Like this. And then in this case, my developer knows exactly what to do, because what will happen based on my practice, developer will open the application like this, casting it in the half screen and saying that, you know what, it's like 5 lines of text for me, right? And or we'll open in another resolution like this, saying that, hey, it works fine for me. Hey, and we'll make a screenshot, send it to you saying that, hey, it works fine for me. I'm not able to reproduce your bug report. And you will have to, spend time again explaining to developer what to do and etc. So it's very important to mention such detail in this case. So this is one of the example of the bug report. So let's say this. So how to reproduce it? First of all, what I need to do, open the app. Second thing, in order to reproduce this is what I did. Open the app, and then make sure that the resolution is more than equal, and then like this, pixels. Only in this case, I will be able to reproduce it. So make sure that the resolution is this, or in this case, you can say open inspector, open inspector, Chrome developer tools, toggle responsive mode, and make the width of the screen 1487 in pixels. In that case, like this. So you can do both ways. I went in a simple way, just saying that make sure that the resolution is this, and then take a look at the text area. Take a look at the text area. So those 3 steps, be able to reproduce this bug. And this is the most important step in this case, because if this is not like this, the behavior will be different, right? So I won't be able to see my result if it's less than this number. If it's less than this number, I won't be able to see simply, and then I will not able to reproduce bug report. I will have different behavior. I will see 2 or 3 lines, and maybe even correct matching with the design spec result, right? An actual result, text area is a single line, and the expected result is what I have from test cases, consists of 3 lines of text. The where is my bug report form? The text area consists of 3 lines of text. So then we need to add attachment, right? So here is the tool that I'm using. It's called Lightshot. Learn more. Lightshot. Yes, and you can download for Windows or for Mac. So let me just send it to the Slack. Screenshots. So this is what I do. So it's very simple to use. You actually test the application, then you just click on it when you install it, take a screenshot, then you see this overlay. Then I do like this, select. Are you able to see my screen now when I'm selecting all of that?
Yes.
Okay, and then I have these instruments here, or the tools, right? So I can actually highlight the problem, select this square, then select arrow, and point it, right? This is the problem. Then I do either to upload to the cloud, or print it, or copy. Just copy, it means like I will just copy, and then I will be able to paste it. Or I can save it. So I save it, for example, desktop, screenshot at main, blah, blah, blah. Save. And in this case, I will just add the file, select file from the desktop, and where's the screenshot over here, and upload. And that's it. So my screenshot is uploaded, and then I do submit. Let me then see how it will look like. So see responses. Oh, where's my response? Hey, it's not fair. Okay. Submit. Okay, make sure that you got this message. So your response has been recorded. Please make sure, because you just see what happens to me. Yes. So as you can see, I see this, I see summary, I see steps to reproduce, I see actual result, and expected result. And I see this image, and I see that somebody beautifully pointed this like this, right? So this is how I will see your bug reports. And me as a developer have to see that very clearly, right? And etc. So now I want you, and I will just skip this because this is not applicable now because this is failed. So of course, I'm not able to test these three, that the first line is this, the second line is this, the third line is this. You don't have to report bugs for this because the first one is not working. So obviously you cannot test this, right? First of all, you cannot test them. So once you have three lines, then you will be able to make sure that the first line is this, the second line is this, and the third line is this, only in that case. So in that case, you will test it. But in this case, you just skip it and wait until this fixed. Then I can test this. X is the number of people in the line. Yes, correct. 5 people and 5 people. Yeah, so I just pass it. Pass it. And then some other test cases. So let me actually show you how to test these guys. So once I will come to this left aligned, so left aligned is easy to check. You will see that, right? It's left aligned, always not to the right, not to the middle. But I believe there will be. So what you can do, you can inspect. I usually do right-click right on the element in Chrome and do inspect, right? But also if you were not able to exactly find that element, you can always select this element finder tool and then find the element over here or the image or etc. So I select this and see, I see font size, I see color, I see margin is something that we don't have to care about. For the font family, that Segoe UI just has to be included. There can be more fonts, but you just need to make sure that the Segoe UI, which is, yes, what we expect, yeah, is included in the list of the fonts. Yeah, and I see it over here, Segoe UI, right? And etc. So you already learned CSS and HTML. So what we actually do, we inspect that. So this is the code that is being generated by the program, HTML and CSS. So your goal is just to find that text and then check it in styles. So styles are CSS rules or CSS styles applied to this element. I usually tell people to go to compute it. So compute it shows, because some styles can be overridden, right? So you can see that the font size that comes from body so was 1 rem, which is 16 pixels. But it was actually, there was another style that applied over it, which is 50 pixels that applied only for this element, right? So this is this style overrides this style, so this is not applying. So it shouldn't confuse you. That's why I tell people, go to compute it. Compute it always shows the last style that applied. So this is the color, right? This is the font family, and you can click on this triangle and you can see more. Font size, and you can even click here and it will lead you to the styles and show you where exactly that comes from. So again, here, triangle to open font size. You already see that 50 pixels, so you can actually pass the test case already. And then and click this 50 pixels, and you see that, okay, this guy applied, right? Again, computed. What else we need to check here? So let's see, 50 pixels, the font color, Segoe UI, left aligned. I believe left aligned, there is nothing about left aligned over here. No, text aligned left is here as well. So you can also use this text aligned left and make sure that it's properly styled, right? So this is what you look for in the inspector. Same for the button. So you do this, select the button, go to compute it. Background color, you see that it's this background color. Then color of the text should be just color over here. It is here. It's white, right? But in RGB, it's 255, 255, 255. But if you click the triangle, you will see just white. And you can click on it and see that it comes from here as well, right? Now, let's see the font size over here. 14 pixels, right? 0.875 rams. Or it's in pixels, again, in computed. Font size, it's 14 pixels, right? So it's 14 pixels or 0.875 RAM. So all of that is here. No, is here, right? Is here. So it's correct, and etc. Then what else is not there? So let's see the image size. I will select the image. So first of all, I will make sure that it's static, right? So it is image. So 600 by 336, right? Is that what we expect? Yes. 600 by 336. Let me change the inspected. So here's the size. Okay. Let me inspect it. Let me move and see if it's changing. No, actually, it's not changing, even if the size of the screen is very small and overlaps everything. The image is not changing. So it's static. Yeah, it's static. Good. And let me just see the size. Okay, so height is auto-applied. And the width, so width is 600. And the height is this. Height, you cannot expand because it's auto-applied based on the width. And the width is 600 pixels. Yeah, it's here. So pretty much clear. Yeah, so it's here as well. And this is how you inspect. Actually, you can inspect clicking on the element. If you were not able to find it, you can select it. You can click on this. Then you can click inspect and inspect this button as well. Yeah, and see the titles and compute it, right? Input. Okay, so in this case, this is the different interesting case. See, I select this radio button, but it selected input, right? And you can see I'm not able to see the color of the input because there are colors of the input. Let me find it over here. Color of the input. Over here, color. Oh, yeah, radio button color, yes. Radio button color, yes, right? And I'm not able to see that over here. Why? Because I selected incorrect element. So sometimes you need to move one level up, one level down. For example, you inspected this. Sometimes you need to open it and inspect something inside, right? To see where you have that color. And here you have that color. The border left color. This is the color that applied. Element style color over here, right? So you can check it. Actually, but you have to sometimes play with the elements. It's okay. If you're not able to find something, just let me know, guys, right? Let me know that, hey, Arthur, I'm not able to find that element, and I will be able to help you. Because you, again, remember, you learn. So it's okay to not know something or not being able to find something. It's okay. I'm not expecting that from you in the after the second QA lesson, right? So it's absolutely okay. But pretty much everything here should be easily tested because we do this not the first time, right? And with many groups, so this is easily tested. But if you have any problems, just let me know in the chat. Okay, good. Other than that, you should be okay. So this is how you report bugs. Let me maybe report another bug. Oh, yeah. I will report another bug. Let's say I have a test case. Over here. The table consists of table header and table body. Table header consists of 3 cells, okay? And the third cell is ID. So my third table header cell is ID. So my test case will be third table header cell is ID. Right, so this is what I expect. I open my application and it says ID. The second is lowercase. And that's a problem. That's maybe typo by developer, but that's a bug. Because we expect what we expect on the designs, even on the designs, it's uppercase on the designs, right? So developer has to fix this. It's incorrect. It happens because people, people make mistakes, and sometimes they just, do the typo and just do not pay attention that it should be uppercase. So, but your goal is to find all of those problems. So then you have to actually report another bug. So let's do that. Preview. So again, Arthur Senko. So what is the problem here in this case? So the third table cell is this, is ID in lowercase. So my not this. So the third table header cell is ID, like this. Okay, ID again, where it happens. It's on the same page. It's only page that we have, so you don't have to mention in this particular case, right? When you need to mention, for example, you say that the text size is incorrect. Text size is incorrect, for example, in table header. So you say text size is incorrect. Then you say in table header, right? And that's it, because when it happens, it's always there. When you open the application, it's already there. You don't have to do anything specifically. So you don't answer a question when it happens, but the question is what happens. The font size is incorrect. And when in the table header, you answer that question. And why do we answer those questions? Where? Because the font size is incorrect. Can be anywhere. Font size can be over here. Font size can be in table body. Font size can be in the button. Font size can be on that pop-up. Font size can be anywhere. So in that case, you have to mention where to let everybody know where it happens. But in this case, it's obviously clear already. The third table header cell. So actually, we already stated where it happens is ID, right? So this is what is incorrect. So actually, exactly what happens. And steps to reproduce. Open the app. And the second, pay attention to the table header cell. And that's it. To the third table header cell. Actual result is this. The value is the text is, and I probably will put it in quote. And expected result, same thing, but then ID. So in this case, very simple. Of course, again, I don't use any complex sentences, any long sentences, any commas, and etc. I just use very simple English, stating the problem, trying to answer questions: what happens, when happens, and where happens. Then steps to reproduce, very short and clear. Hey, open the app and pay attention at some element. And then text is this, and I expect text is this. Then I go to the application. I take a screenshot. In this case, I don't have to take a screenshot of the entire page because it's not something that I have to. In that case, I had to, because to show that it should be width, specific width. In this case, I will just take the table, right? We'll put the square over here, and we'll mark it like this. And that's pretty much it, right? We'll just save it on the desktop. And then I will go to my bug report, add file. Again, import it from the desktop. Here's my table. Upload. And I have it. Submit. And my response was recorded. So let me actually check the responses. Individual. And here I have my bug report. So third table header cell is ID. Open the app, pay attention to the third table, header cell, text is this, and I expect text is this. I open this, and I see beautiful screenshot showing me, hey, this is the problem. And this is how you need to report bugs. That's it. That's not something difficult. But what I usually have problems with, so students, they are not being very, I don't know, clean in terms of the work. So sometimes it's not formatted. Sometimes steps are not numbered. Sometimes they are not trying to be consistent, like trying to see the exact difference. So try to be professional. So this is your chance to try and see if you will be able to do the job, because you need to do this job perfectly. So this job loves people who loves perfection, people who actually will do the job perfectly and will try to make other people do the job perfectly, right? So that's the main thing that we expect from you. And that's what I expect from you now on this course. So because you need to try, you need to see if you will be able to do this, because maybe you are not the person who's able to mark everything precisely by the steps, number them, and etc., and make it clear. Because your goal is make it clear, easy to understand, mark, make a beautiful screenshot, mark it, say, hey, this is the problem, and this is the ideal process. This is what you need to head to. Maybe it will not happen right away from the first bug. It's okay, because you're learning. You need always understand and remember that you're learning, and mistakes and problems are okay, but you need to improve yourself, and this is what you need to head to. Because at the end, I expect you to be like professional, and do everything clearly, to be consistent, to have beautiful formatting, right? And show other people yourself as an example, saying that, hey, I'm doing everything properly, beautifully. Analyst has to do the same, and developer has to do the same. So we will not have problems, bugs, and our application will be beautiful, working fine, and etc. This is your job, and this is what I expect from you. So the homework will be actually execute your test cases and report bugs. I will send you the homework. You will have all the links. Yeah, I will actually give you the link to the light shot. You already have it in the chat. I actually will probably add the screen URL here as well. And that's it. That's pretty much the homework. Execute your test cases and report all found bugs. That's it. Just imagine yourself on the project. That's what you do, because right now we work remotely. So most of the time, guys, what you will be doing is just, you will meet with your team in the morning on the meeting called a stand-up. So usually you meet with your teammates for the 15 minutes. Just everybody share their status. Hey, this is what I'm working on. I'm going to work on this. Today I'm executing test cases and we'll be reporting bugs. And other people say something different. Oh, I already reported a few bugs. I'm going to check a few bug fixes and work with developer. So you just share your status. So, and that's the case. So you meet with your team. And if your goal for today, execute the test cases, maybe not only for today, maybe for the entire week, because you have a lot of test cases, right? So, and you will be just sitting and the entire day executing test cases, reporting bugs. Maybe developers will be reaching out to you in Slack, asking questions. Hey, can you please explain me this bug better, or something like that. Other than that, same thing as you will be doing, like sitting, executing test cases, same thing you will do on your future job. So that's pretty much it. And that's the homework for today. Okay, I see the question from Irina in the chat. Question about this particular bug with text. If you open the browser and you happen to see the 3 lines in resolution was 1300 or so, it showed 3 lines. Okay. You do not play with resolution and find out that this bug exists and mark it passed, then it fails. And are there certain default settings for the browser in the beginning of the testing in order to avoid a bug situation? Actually not. It really depends on the project. So in our case, we didn't have specific requirements for that, right? But if that happens, that you have specific requirements, and maybe business analyst says, okay, guys, so this application will work only in this resolution, right? So then you will be always testing in that specific resolution and nothing else. For example, in the business case is like, hey, those applications will be on iPad, right? So, and iPad has this specific resolution, and it will be in Chrome browser, for example, right? So they will tell you, hey, you have to test in Chrome in this specific resolution. And even if you inspect, actually, maybe sometimes you don't have to even set the resolution, you just set the device. Like, for example, iPad Air, and you do like this. So this is how it will be actually displayed on that iPad Air and the landscape mode, right? So it really depends on the project. In our case, we don't have that, but we were able to find this bug, because we were playing with the inspect. So I opened this in full HD, and I see that there is a single line. But then I was suspecting when showing you that inspector tool that I was suspecting that something happens because I was able to play like this and see that it's changing, right? It was one line in full screen, but once I inspect, it became 2 lines. So then I expected that's a single line, just, there is a automatic line breaks, but there is no enough space. This is how it works. So that's what I was expecting. And it happened, right? You may miss this, but you will definitely find it when you will start testing the which line has which text. Because even if you have, right, 2 lines, right, then the text, how it's located, is incorrect. But then you see, okay, why is that? And maybe you then play with the screen and then see that it's a single line. So maybe that will happen to you, right? So, but eventually it's a single line. So developers created it as a single line, as I can see. Oh, actually, it's like 3 lines, but they are not like working as expected, right? They are like in single line. So it's a single div element, and it works as a single line, right? So that's maybe the problem. So if you know HTML, especially right now, you learn something with stand, so you can even in your bug report, you can even add this information specific that the text is located in a single div, and that's what causes the problem. And you usually do this in actual result. So you actually say the text is a single line, and then below you say node, for example, right? You can see over here, you can put something like submit another response, like actual result, you say blah, 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 and then node. The text is in a single div, right? And it's a single div. And you will help developer to like better understand the problem. So you can add this additional information in the actual result as well. That's pretty much it. That should be easy job. I just want you to actually really try to very, very pay attention to the short summary, how you actually create it. That's one of the most important skills here. And also to try to be clear, right? So to try to have your bug report very clear, consistent, right? Number your steps to reproduce, right? And etc. So try to actually make that perfectly. So that's the main thing that you need to do, because what I want you to feel is responsibility. So when you create those bug reports, you feel responsible, because better you do right now, better you will be at your job. So try to do that right now as much as perfectly, right? Do that right now. That's what I expect from you today. And that's pretty much it. You will have maybe some problems. You will have some questions, and it is okay. Just feel free to ask me in the chat. Remember that we'll learn this, and this is a good time right now to ask questions and to get problems so you can fix them before you get a job. Because it's always bad when you get a job and you still have some problems, and then you try to fix them later. So that's pretty much it. Let me share my beautiful broken face again. And do you have any questions?
Thank you so much. Thank you. All good.
No problem. No problem. Okay, then if no questions, again, I'm still there in the chat. So if you happen to have any other question, let me know in the chat. And I will see you probably next week. I'm joining actually lessons with Stan, and maybe I will join the lesson with Sergey next week for test estimation. Probably I will join it for sure. And yeah, and then so we'll see you. But I'm still there in the chat. So feel free to ask any questions. Bye-bye. Have a good night, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye-bye. Oh, I have to stop the recording first.